to be honest, I don't think either team deserved to win. I think Sunderland in places looked lethargic, and I'll get onto more why in a minute. But yeah, Leeds got beat, so yeah, it's not the end of the world. It could have been worse. Yeah, I mean, as I said in the intro, I felt like in patches Sunderland's play was very lethargic. It was very, and at times I think that the setup was a bit disjointed, primarily because I think you're trying to shoehorn Tommy Watson, who I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe Tommy Watson is a left winger who's been shoehorned in on the right to fill Wilson-Isidore on the left. Now, could that have been Mundell and Roberts took a knock in training the last couple of days, hence why neither of them started? Who knows? But I'll tell you something, although we weren't great, and I didn't think across the game we did enough to deserve to win the game, Mundell and Roberts, I thought, did make us play a bit better when we came on. We started to get little triangles better, and we started to get better patterns of play going, whereas I felt we really missed that before Mundell and Roberts came on. I can only suspect that Regis Le Bris is trying to do that with Coventry in mind on Saturday. I felt like, I remember some comments on social media at half-time were saying Preston were all over us. Now, to some degree, I disagree with that, because in terms of physicality, I agree. Physicality-wise, they were all over us. But I don't think it's because they were a superior team to Sunderland, even on the night, when for our standards you could argue that was a poor performance. I felt like Preston had, put more crosses into the box, and there was a couple of chances we probably did get lucky where they headed wide, but at the same time Sunderland weren't good either, I didn't think. For what we know we're capable of, we weren't very good, I don't think. I think what we tried to do half the time didn't come off. Not for lack of trying, I think it was just jointed, and I just think that the cohesion wasn't there quite as much as I would have liked it to have been. I think obviously it's good to see that Rig played the game. It's good to see that Connolly at least gets some minutes under his belt. But I think, for example, Wilson-Isidore, I didn't think he was able to do very much on the left flank. And I think he looked a lot better when he moved more centrally and when Mundell and Roberts obviously came on. I suspect Isidore will start again up top at the weekend and Mundell and Roberts on either wing. So, look, again, as I said before, given that Leeds lost at Millwall, it's not the end of the world. I think that at least if we're not going to win games, and I've said this before, if we're not going to win games, you need to get into the habit of making sure you don't lose the games. Now, does that mean I want a load of draws? No, it doesn't. I do obviously want to win games. But the one thing I will say is, people need to accept we ain't going to win every week. And I think, yes, okay, performances last couple of games, you may say, might have dropped off a little bit. I do think QPR in general, it was a more positive result because of the circumstances of the red card. And I'll tell you something now, we actually did really miss Job tonight, I think. I think you can tell that Job has obviously been our best midfielder so far this season, and we just didn't look as cohesive in the middle as when Job was playing. The good thing, I suppose, at least, is that unless he gets injured on international duty, assuming he's going away with England anyway, that Job should be nice and fresh for when he does come back, which I believe is against West Brom. So the next bit we need to do is really try and get through Saturday's game. Now, I want to make this point very clear, because sorry, there's not much to talk about in regards to the game, but I will say this for Saturday. And by the way, if I'm not able to watch the game, I might not do a video on Coventry. And by the way, if I sound bunged up, it's because I've got a cold over the last day or so. But I will say this ahead of Coventry, regardless of what the result is on Saturday, people need to not have a meltdown over it for me, because what we need to realise is we have still started exceptionally well this season. And yes, okay, the Championship's weaker, and I've said this before, and I do hope Sunderland take the opportunity, especially when the January window comes up, to be able to really try and push for those automatics if we can, or at the very least cement a place in the top 6. But I will say this, even if we lost on Saturday, we are still going to be at least into the top 2, unless Burnley win their next games against West Brom and Swansea, I believe it is they've got, unless they win them at a canter by 5-6 goals each game. Which you never know in the Championship, but based on Burnley's performances, I'm not entirely sure that's going to happen unless something really changes. But what I would say is, we're going to be top 2 at least going into the international break, and we're going to be at 2 points per game after 15 games going to the international break. I said before Hull I wanted to get 30 points. We've done that with a game to spare. Now, does that mean I'm happy with the performance? No. Does it mean I'll be happy with a draw again on Coventry against Saturday? I'll be content but satisfied at best with a draw. But I wouldn't be up in arms over it, but I wouldn't say it was like the best result of the season either. I'm just making the point that I think we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture so far. And that even if, and look, the performance on Saturday definitely needs to be better. I'm not going to dispute that. It needs to be better. But our standards and what we know we're capable of, we weren't very good tonight for what we know we can do. But again, sometimes you've just got to make sure you get into the habit of getting a result, even if you don't play particularly well. As long as the performances eventually do improve, which I do think they will again. And even then, I think, tonight we weren't exactly abhorrently terrible. We just weren't particularly great. We weren't particularly good, really. So maybe that's contradictory, I don't know. But I'm just trying. But anyway, look, Going in the international break, we're at least, at worst case scenario, we're going to be on 2 points per game after 15 games. And we're going to be at least in the top, and it's very likely we're going to be at least in the top 2. Does that look? Of course, I want to win on Saturday the same way every Sunderland fan will want to win on Saturday. But let's just take a step back, I think. But if obviously, look, performance doesn't need to be better than tonight. I'll admit that. Right, guys, I'm going to head off back to Manchester. So yeah, that's why this video is late, because I wanted to make sure I got myself down to the train station, so at least I've got time to edit this on the way back. But anyway, take care, you lovely lot. Safe trip back, and very quickly, safe trip back for everyone on the motorways for what's happened today with the lorry overturning, and I believe there was a fatality or 2 in there. So rest in peace to the people who are affected by that. But yeah, if you're watching the video and you're not a regular subscriber and you think I've earned it from you, hit the like button, subscribe, share it around. It'd be much appreciated, because I'm trying to get to 6k subs. And yeah, if I don't see us on Saturday, I'll do a video over the international break talking about where we're at, basically. But if I do get to watch the game, I'll try and do a video. But just to be clear, in case I don't, be clear, just in case I don't do one, it's just so you know in advance. Take care, you lovely lot. Stay safe, and let's hope for a good result on Saturday. Away the lads.